Hello, welcome back. I hope you had a good week. I'm happy to be hanging out with you again. Firstly, the exciting thing is that I got a new camera with a mic, so I'm excited to see what I'm going to create and the adventures we're going to go on together. So I ran the Berlin Half Marathon 2 weeks ago and I've needed a lot of recovery time. And then it was like the week before my period. I'm on my period now and I've been super low on energy. Like it's different from month to month. Sometimes I'm on my period and I have a lot of energy and I can still run and it's all great. But this month I'm just like,
computer says no.
No. I don't know about you, but I used to get this anxiety if I'd skip a few training days that I would like lose my fitness, which is not true. And this time I feel like I'm approaching it with a lot of acceptance and just knowing that actually there's no point pushing. And I really think that this rest and recovery is what my body needs and it's actually going to make me stronger. So I've been really enjoying going to yoga classes and going for long walks. So I thought today the weather's pretty nice. I thought we could go for a walk together, grab a coffee and chat. Let's get ready. This is my little camera. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, such a nice day. So I'm going to take you to my current favorite cafe at the moment. It's called Isla Coffee. They always make a good flat white.
I remember all them late nights cooking on the laptop by my bedside. Damn right, think I'm finna pop it maybe sometime. Gotta get that work in the usual way. Spit that game.
That is a good looking flat white. First sip. So good. Oh my god, I love coffee. I'm also obsessed with a flat white because I grew up in New Zealand. So I was born in South Korea and my family and I, we immigrated to New Zealand in 1995. And yeah, flat white's a huge there. It reminds me of home and I always used to go on little coffee dates with my dad. He's also a huge coffee lover. Let's go to Hasenheide. It's a really nice park nearby. And right now it's so nice because everything's green, a lot of flowers. If you're ever planning to visit Berlin, you have to come in the spring. It's so nice, it's so pretty. So nice, look how green it is. And all the flowers. So I thought I could share about how and why I started running because I really didn't grow up playing sport and I carried this belief for a long time that I couldn't run and that my body was too heavy and yeah, all sorts of things that I guess that I was told as a child growing up in a pretty traditional Korean home. But also very confusing because I grew up in New Zealand where being active and playing sport is really encouraged in schools. But I remember my mom telling me to quit swimming because she told me that my shoulders were getting too wide. And anytime I wanted to play sport, she told me that I would look too masculine and it didn't fit her story of the perfect Korean daughter that she wanted to raise. That's actually a big part of my running journey now, is that no woman in my family ever challenged these beliefs. No woman in my family ever ran or did any kind of sport. So that's kind of what is keeping me going now and also in wanting to make these videos as a Korean woman to inspire and motivate other women or anyone who believes that they can't do something that they can. Other than taking part in physical education, I never ran. And when I was 18, I found yoga. Yeah, I really went into yoga. I became a yoga instructor. It was just such a big part of my life. I do remember like running once in a while, like from time to time, maybe to try and lose weight. I don't know. But every time I ran, I remember always getting shin splints and just feeling this like heaviness in my body. I really felt like I wasn't built to run. Then in 2019, I was living in Stockholm and I met my ex-boyfriend there. My ex-boyfriend's an ex-athlete and he's just so fit. He's just running all the time. And so I guess he started to influence me in a way. And then we moved to Berlin in 2020. Then it was COVID and I was in a position where I'd quit my job. It was COVID and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life in a new city. And I remember just feeling really stuck. and just really not knowing what to do. And I remember my ex-boyfriend telling me, if you do one thing a day, just go for a run. Just go for a run around the canal. And I think at the time it really pissed me off because it wasn't what I wanted to hear. Like now I can appreciate it. But I did take on his advice and I started running. Not consistently, but I did try. I didn't enjoy it at all, but it did give me something to do, and I am quite an overthinker, so it was such a nice way to clear my head and to get out of my head, because actually I was just so focused on the pain and like getting through the run. Anyway, during that time I met one of my ex-boyfriend's friends, Kati, who is a lady in her 40s. She's a mom, she's an entrepreneur and activist, just such a badass woman who's also a runner, and she'd like done all sorts of races, and I think she was actually the first female runner that I'd met, and I just thought she was so cool, and so cool that she was doing all of this as a mom, and to see a woman looking so strong, that really inspired me. And she actually gave me my first pair of running shoes, so I kept trying to run, and my ex-boyfriend at the time, he motivated me a lot to keep going and to keep running. And then I actually signed up for my first half marathon in 2021 because I was feeling a bit lost, and I don't know, I just wanted to do something for myself, and 21 kilometers seemed really impossible then, and I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. So I joined a running community in Berlin called the Berlin Braves, and I started training with them. I guess that was like the first time I started to gain a bit more confidence and feel like I was improving and that I could actually do this. I also quietly had a goal that I wanted to run the half marathon in 2 hours, which I didn't make for the first one. But as soon as I crossed that line, I felt this fire that I wanted to do it again and to do it at 2 hours. So then I signed up for another half marathon, and actually Kati, the lady who gave me my first pair of running shoes, she paced me. I still didn't make it. I was so close. It was 2 hours and like 15 seconds or something. And in 2022, I went through the biggest heartbreak of my life. And at the same time, I had my finger broken. So I was just a complete wreck, physically, emotionally. Like when I think back to that time, like I could not get out of bed. I was just crying every day. I think I cried every day that year. I had no idea what I was doing with my life, you know, and now that I had an injury, I couldn't work. At the time I was trying to work full-time as a yoga teacher. I didn't know what I was doing. And at some point I couldn't handle it anymore. So I decided to hide out in Tenerife. I rented an apartment in the middle of nowhere, and I just stayed there for a month by myself. But I was still in the same loop, like crying, not getting out of bed, doom scrolling, doing everything I can to actually avoid the pain. One day I remember saying to myself, if you do one thing, just go for a run. You can cry, you can numb, you can do whatever you want to do afterwards, but just go for a run. And by that time, like my finger had healed and I could manage like 3 kilometers. So I decided to just do 3 kilometers every day. Oh, there are like a lot of these dandelion things. Let's make a wish together. Ready? Yeah, so I started running again in Tenerife to try and do something with my life, find direction, and I kept that going. I actually ended up going to Morocco, spending a month there, and then to Italy, spending a month there. And I took running with me. I kept just doing this 3 kilometers every day. And then I came back to Berlin. I joined another running community because I think what I needed at the time was more community and connection. And that was really fun. It was really, really amazing. But I just really wasn't doing well in Berlin. I just couldn't find me. Like I couldn't find myself in the city that I had moved to with my ex. And I spontaneously had the idea that I wanted to move to Barcelona. I actually remember watching Vicky Cristina Barcelona at a friend's house and then telling my friend I'm moving to Barcelona. And then and there I looked up if there was a half marathon happening, and there was a half marathon happening in February. So I booked it, and then I booked my flight. I was like, I'm gonna go, and when I arrive I'm gonna run the Barcelona half marathon, and I'm gonna make it under 2 hours. So I packed up all my stuff, I moved to Barcelona. I did run the Barcelona half marathon under 2 hours. Like I really started to get more and more into running. Also because I had decided that I wanted to become a full-time content creator. And because I was running every day, it gave me something to make content about. I just started to really, really enjoy it. From there, I actually went back to Berlin to do the Berlin half marathon again. And then I got a new personal best time. It gave me drive to go to Hackney in London, where I did another half marathon and also did a better time. And then I went on this crazy adventure with a running crew that I met in Barcelona for the Euro trip, where we ran from Cologne in Germany to Strasbourg in France, like as a team with a van. Yeah, it was such a cool experience. And then a friend messaged me and asked me if I'd be interested in running a marathon with her. No, it was also just one of those things that I felt like I could never do. So I said yes. So we signed up for the marathon in Malaga. The marathon was in December last year. I did 6 months of training. I got training plans from like different runners, but it was so amazing. I loved it. I loved that I had a focus. It just really gave me a sense of purpose and that I was working towards something. And when I was running the marathon, I just remember not once doubting myself that I couldn't do it, because I knew that I showed up every day for those 6 months and there was no way that I could not do it. And that was such an amazing feeling for me, and also a huge realization that I can do anything. I can do anything. All it is just discipline and consistency and showing up every day, putting one foot in front of the other. This putting one foot in front of the other just became a mantra for me, and it still is. Even if it's just one small step, as long as I am putting one foot, I know I'm going to get closer and closer to where I want to be. So yeah, this year I decided that my goal is to run a half marathon in 1 hour and 45 minutes. That seems impossible for me. I'm not a fast runner, and I do have a belief that I can't run fast. It is this thing of wanting to do something that feels unimaginable for me, to prove to myself that I am capable and that I can do it. I don't know how long it's going to take, but yeah, I'll keep trying. That is also the beauty of running, is that it has a domino effect. You know, when one domino falls, the rest all fall into place. And that's how I feel like running has changed my life. I don't know, maybe for you it's not about running. You know, it doesn't have to be running. But if you're feeling lost and confused and not sure about where you want to go in your life, I can really suggest that you choose some kind of movement practice. It could be running, it could be yoga, Pilates, it could be a sport like tennis or soccer, volleyball, anything that you could imagine yourself doing. And use that to set a goal and watch the impact that it can actually have in your life. But it's about you showing up every day and doing the thing. And movement is so powerful in that way. Also to feel strong, you know, when you feel strong physically, it also helps with your confidence. The journey definitely isn't easy. There are many, many days that I don't want to show up and I don't want to do it. But for me, having the goal of I'm running a half marathon, or I want to run a marathon, meant that if I want to do it, I have to show up. There's no other way. And for me, it was just so helpful when I felt lost, when I didn't have focus in my life. It gave me something to focus on. And once you know what that feels like, it's the domino effect, you know, like everything else starts to make sense, and you see it and you start to look for it and find it in all the other ways. Oh, that was such a nice walk. I would also love to hear your running stories. What inspires you to run? Let me know in the comments. So I'm going to end our chat here. Thanks for coming on a walk with me. I hope you took something away from it. I'm sending you a lot of love and a big hug, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye.